Hi, welcome to Outside the Gym, a fitness trainer interview series by FitBudd. So over here, we call personal trainers from all across the world. So today we have Derek Noble, who is a certified personal trainer from Phoenix, Arizona. His area of expertise is into bodybuilding, and he would be sharing his fitness journey with us today. So without much delay, let's get started. So Derek, welcome to Outside the Gym, a fitness trainer interview series by FitBudd. And we are, kind of glad to have you on board with us for the interview. So let's get started for this.
All
So
right.
first question over to you. So Derek, I was, kind of really curious to know your fitness journey. So how did you start your fitness journey?
So my fitness career, like my fitness journey started way back when I was in high school. So I had lost almost 100 pounds. I was following a really strict keto diet, which is really popular now, but like 10 years ago, it wasn't.
Right.
So when I started to get into that, I started to learn the ins and outs of the science behind nutrition and training. So I was like I was really good in science, and like I did really well in my like bio class, my anatomy class. I did well in my chemistry classes. So I was very scientifically inclined, and I performed well in all these honor science classes. So I took like kind of like that talent, and I started investing my time into studying and developing methods to help myself.
Wow.
So yeah, I really spent a lot of my time kind of like getting everything together, learning how to do this, testing different methods, like learning what worked best. And that's kind of where like it sparked the love for everything. And that's where I started.
Right. Wow. That's great. That's great. So when you were, kind of losing that much weight, so were there any, kind of side effects which were there into the place, like after following the keto diet?
Yeah, so I noticed that it was like low energy for a lot of the times, and it was kind of like really restricted foods. So after I started really experimenting with different diets and kind of everything that we needed to put in place in order to lose weight, I figured out a couple different methods. And the keto works for a lot of people that don't really have self-control, or they're really big on
Right.
like steaks and meats and that kind of stuff, and
Right.
don't really care for carbs. But it just depends on the client that I'm working with at the time. So yeah, the side effects was just hungry, tired all the time, didn't really like eating chicken and steak and not being able to have bread. So that was kind of what I dealt with.
Right, right, right. Great, great. So, Derek, like as you talked about your fitness journey, so who was your fitness inspiration back then?
I would say that if I had to say anybody for fitness inspiration, I would say it was kind of the other kids, because I was always a heavier kid in high school, and I was always jealous of these, other kids that were like super like ripped, or they had like bigger muscles. They were getting all the girls in school, and I was just like really fat kid, and then I lost all this weight, and then I was this really skinny kid. So I went from being like way too overweight to way too skinny, and I was like, man, can I just look like that guy over there? That guy
Right,
just works out and he gets all the girls, and I don't. So that was my inspiration to really start figuring out how to do this. And
right,
now I look back and it's like all the kids that used to give me a hard time in high school for being overweight or being small or not being able to squat 300 pounds or whatever, they look up to me and they reach out to me now and they're like, oh man, you look great and everything. And I'm like, yeah, because I had to work for it and I had to learn how to do it. And you just kind of had it come to you. So there's a difference between just being given something versus learning something. And
right.
that's really what I figured out the last couple of years, especially with clients, is like the clients that pay more are going to take more advantage of what you're offering them. If you bring on free clients, most of the time they don't even follow the diet for the first week.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I'm able to, kind of relate to your journey also because in March 2020, I was weighing 90 kgs at that time. And within the
Okay.
period of 4 months, I lost 25 kgs.
That's a lot of weight, man.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Right. So I actually
Yeah.
was, following a plant-based diet at that time. And that
Oh,
actually, led me research more about the plant-based diet and how it works. And like, documentaries like The Game Changers, Fat Sick and
yeah.
Nearly
Yeah.
Dead. So these documentaries kind of gives you an inspiration and insight of what is actually going into the market. Though there were, a lot of like advantages following the diet also, but like according to me, I guess that progression is the key. Like, extreme ends actually don't work. If you want long-term health, I don't think like, extreme diet works.
Yeah. It's going to be slow, sustainable, and you got to be able to
Yeah,
do it for the rest of your life. Yeah.
right,
I
right.
agree 100%, man. Yeah.
Yeah, very true, very true. So, Derek, like talking about your personal brand, what exactly in which area do you specialize? Like, I can see through a post and everything that you are like a professional bodybuilder, like a
Yeah.
bodybuilder coach. Yeah,
Yeah. So I would say that my specialty, I mean, I work with two different types of people. I work with guys that want to be competitive bodybuilders, and I put them through their peak weeks, and I put them through all this crazy different type of training, and they want to get big. They want to have muscles like arms that are like coming out. They want to be huge. So I really work well with those guys that have that kind of long-term goal of competing in the professional world of bodybuilding. But I'm also able to relate kind of to like the people that are overweight and have like a chip on their shoulder. And they're like, man, I'll do anything to lose this weight. I'll do any sort of diet. I will work my ass off every single day to get this done. And it's those guys that I'm like, okay, I know what you're going through because I've been there and I know what it's like to struggle with this and want to do whatever it takes, but just not knowing it. So I really, really work well with the guys that are like, man, I will do whatever it takes. And those are the guys that see results within a matter of weeks. They're down 5, 10, 15 pounds.
Right, right. That's great. So, like your clients currently, are you taking any online clients or it's mostly in-person clients which you're taking right now?
It's almost all online. I've got clients in the United Kingdom. I've got clients in Canada, United States. I've got clients in 15 or 20 different states in the United States. I've got clients in Mexico. I've got clients in Africa, Morocco. I've got clients all over the world. So I work with a lot of different people from a lot of different countries, a lot of different states. So it's mostly online.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So, Derek, how are you managing your clients before using FitBudd for your online clients?
Yeah. So
What
before I
was
was
your
using
journey? What was your journey with those kind of, clients before FitBudd?
Yeah, so I originally started with spreadsheets. Like most trainers, they start off with spreadsheets, right? They'll have Google Sheets, they'll have Excel sheets, they'll email them out. So I progressed from using spreadsheets to an online platform. But after about a year of using that, it started to kind of give me like tech related issues. So it was like lagging. I was failing to upload the files properly to client accounts. And then I switched over to FitBudd. And that's kind of when it was, I had like about 100 clients at the time. And so it was definitely a pain to like move over 100 diets, 100 programs, 100 different clients, get everybody from one app to the other. But the feedback was resoundingly positive from all the clients that I had worked with. So they went from like using this app that wasn't even native, really. It was just kind of a white label and you would just be able to download the icon, to having an application where they actually had believed that this was something that I paid for to upload to the App Store. So much smoother, much cleaner, much easier to use. Like even my marketing team that had worked before, like the guy that owns the marketing team was an app developer. And he was like, oh, who built this for you? He's like, it looks like it's a native app. And it was very impressive. So, I mean, the fact that they didn't know that I was able to do this without a single setup fee, like it was completely free to set up and it's not that expensive at all to use. It is worth every penny. In fact, we're working on our third application. We're getting our third one published right now because it's just stacking up and working with different niches and I'm working with different clients from all over the world. So as I start and grow these companies, it's like, okay, well, I just email Somya and I'm like, hey, I need another one, need another one, need another one. So, I mean, 3 applications and I'm probably going to try for about 5 and just have 5 different companies, 5 different niches and just push from there. So I definitely, very huge fan of the app because, doing an interview at 6 in the morning.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful to hear from you. So, Derek, what according to you is one USP of FitBudd? If I ask you just one USP.
I would say the fact that it's completely white labeled. There's no, I mean, the fact that I have 100 clients that believe that I have a dev team, that I have, that I spent $50,000 on getting this done. Because I don't tell them that I work with FitBudd. I'm like, yeah, this is my application. And there's not a single person that has questioned that since day one. And the fact that I can reach out to FitBudd, through the chat system and I can say, hey, I'm having, this issue here. Or I need this set up for a client or I'm having this bug. And later that night, because you guys are in India, right? India?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, wait. Yeah, it's because you guys are in India. It gets done overnight. And then the next morning I messaged that client. Oh, we were working hard all night. I was on the phone with the dev team, but we got this fixed for you. And they absolutely love that. So the fact that it's just so native and it flows so well and it's such an impressive, it's such an impressive user interface has been definitely the best USP so far.
Wow, that's great. That's great, Derek. That's a great insight coming from you. Yeah, so Derek, like for other trainers, like for for the trainers who are kind of who are going to watch this interview. So if you want to give them one piece of advice related to the usage of an application, so what would that be?
I would say keep all your communications through the application. So it's easy, it's quick. You don't have, if you're sending messages through Instagram and through email and through text message and through Facebook and through Snapchat and through this and this and this and this, and then you have everything going through this application, try to focus everything that you've got into this application and keep your messages related to training, nutrition, everything here. I would say my biggest tip is just use this is how you contact me. If I don't reply to you on this social media platform, or if I don't get back to your text messages, well, it's because if you want to get a hold of me, this is where I work. This is my work phone. This is how you get a hold of me the fastest. And then make sure you set your hours appropriately. So if you have the hours in the application set from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and they message you at 8:30, they're going to expect a response. So if you can't be there to answer, or have one of your staff members or trainers available to answer at 8:59 p.m., you're not available at 8:59 p.m. You're available at 8:58 p.m. Right. So set those deadlines accordingly and make sure you respond to your clients quickly. Right. The biggest key that I can possibly give any sort of trainer is if you can make every one of your clients feel like that they are your only client, that there's no other client that you work with, you will have better retention rates than anybody else in the industry. I sign up maybe about 3 or 4 clients per week, and we lose about 1 or 2 a month. And that's primarily due to financial issues. So focus on keeping them happy and communicate with them. If your check-ins are only once a week, like if you only check in once every weekend, have another day throughout the week that you or your trainer send a message. Hey, how's everything going this week? I know we made updates. How was your diet? How was your training? How's your nutrition? Any questions? On Wednesdays, I message every one of my clients, 100 plus clients through 2 platforms. And then on Saturdays, we do our check-ins. It makes them think that you care about them, which you should, obviously. So more than one time per week. So definitely twice per week, 3 times per week, if you can, reach out and talk to them.
Right. That's great. That's a great insight, Derek. Yeah. So Derek, as you mentioned that, most of your clients are based like in an online system, like in an online format. So how do you motivate them? Are there any, kind of tips and tricks which you would like to suggest them, or the trainers or the online trainers who are watching this?
Any sort of progress is worth celebrating. So anytime that they're down 1 pound, 2 pounds, if they're down half a pound, if they're happy with anything that they message you about, they're excited about. So if they're going to tell you in their check-ins, their questionnaires, if they message you throughout the week, if they send any sort of information where you can turn that into a celebration, absolutely take that and just make it huge. They're down, 2-3 pounds their first week. You message them and say, I wasn't expecting you to lose this much weight, but hell yeah, it shows me that you're sticking to the plan. You're giving it 110%. And just make sure that you're always asking them, are you giving 100%? Because even if they give 75% and your plan is bulletproof, they're going to see results. But any sort of celebration, anything that you can really take and blow up and make it just seem like it's the biggest deal in the world. Because 1 pound to you as a trainer might not be that much, but 1 pound to somebody who's been struggling and their goal is 10 pounds, they're 10% of the way there. Everything is worth celebrating with a client, 100%. Just it's about their success. And if they're taking steps towards that goal, celebrate that goal, celebrate that success.
Right. So how do you celebrate their success? Do you post on social media related to their progress, or like just a one-on-one conversation with them works?
So both. So what I actually like to do is during the weekends, if they've had a check-in and there's significant progress, like I just posted one client, his name is Lance, and he has 5 weeks. He's gotten rid of his love handles and he's gotten like a 6-pack because he's getting ready for a show. So he's gone from like kind of an average looking guy with a body before to like, this guy looks like a model that could be on a beach tomorrow. So I screenshot his 1st week to 5th week transition using the FitBudd app has a great screenshot for that, because you can do the side by sides. Screenshot that, post it, tag him, boom. That guy's going to get all the recognition he wants. He can repost it. Oh, look, this bodybuilding trainer is showing me off to all of his followers. So I post that, and that to him is like, I'm doing something right. And then I message him, man, you look absolutely incredible. Can I post this? Can I share this with my followers? Can I show people this is what they should be doing? So then he thinks, I mean, obviously he's doing fantastic, but then he thinks he's the example. He is leading everybody else by example, because that is what I expect from all of my clients. So he gets that fire going. He's like, let's do it. And he loves it. And that gets him going even harder the next week. So
Right.
just once a month, giving everybody a shout out because, I mean, you know, they're paying you. They
Yeah.
want to feel special. They want to feel individual and unique. And that just, you know, circles back to making sure every client feels like that they're your only client.
Yeah.
Biggest piece of advice.
Right, right, right. That's great. So, as you know, kind of we are heading towards the end of this interview. So, last question over to you, which is, do you have any kind of an inspirational fitness quote or some kind of, set of videos or maybe a movie that you live by and which is kind of close to your heart?
I would say the quote by Eric Thomas. I had to write this down. I had to do research because I knew that I was going to have a quote ready. But yeah, there is a good one. So it's by Eric Thomas, and it says, "When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful." And to me, what that means is like, it doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to get it done, you're going to get it done. And that's the thing. It's like, do you want to lose weight? Well, there's no room for, oh, I didn't follow my diet. I didn't go to the gym today. I didn't do my cardio. You don't want it. You don't want that badly. If you want to make this happen, you can make it happen. You lost 25 kg, man. How did you lose 25 kg? You got up, you followed the diet, you got it done. You wanted to get it done, and
Yeah.
it got done, right? So when you want to succeed, as bad as you want to breathe, then you're going to be successful. But you got to pour everything into it. It's like,
Right.
if you want to be a trainer, you want to have 100 clients, you want to make $1 million a year, you can get there. But what have you done today? Are you on an interview at 6 a.m. in the morning? Are you getting ready to go train clients at 7 a.m. in the morning? Are you getting ready to make phone calls at 8 a.m. in the morning? Have you networked today? Have you reached out to everybody that you possibly can? Do you have a CRM system set up? Are you following up with old clients? Are you asking for referrals? Are you networking? Are you getting on news stations? Are you doing, shout for shouts on Instagram? Are you following accounts? Are you setting DMs? What have you done today to get yourself to 100 clients making $1 million a year?
Right, right, right. That's
You
true.
don't want it if you're not doing everything you possibly can. Do you
Yeah.
want it as badly as you want to breathe? Right?
Right.
See, it's inspirational. It's a motivational one,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, definitely, for sure. Thank you so much for today, Derek. So, it was like an insightful conversation with you.